some problems. I was jailed. So all this time you find it was my wife who was really taking care of the kids, really. So I have to thank, I have no words to thank her for this, the responsibility she carried at that time, and she persevered all the difficulties we had, and she never complained with all the problems we had. All the ups and downs went together and always was with me. So really, she deserves credit for her patience, for her commitment, for her support to me. She never said that you have to leave this politics. This is something which is not good for us. You are destroying our family. Never complained that wherever you go, we shall be together. So she has been the force behind me.
Maalim Seif atakuhakikisha katika huduma za serikali hakuna utakayenunua huduma za serikali. Sawa sawa.
First met him when he was imprisoned. I used to always sneak out from school and go to the courts actually to listen or to hear the court proceedings of his case. And then, but the first encounter in which we talked was on 21st of November 1991, the day he was released from the detention, and I went to greet him at his residence at Mtoni, and there I had a chance of talking to him.
And there was a lot of international pressure, really, from Amnesty International, from development partners, from human rights organizations in the United States, because I was considered as a prisoner of conscience. When I was in jail, I had access to my colleagues who were communicating. Of course, there were certain prison wardens who were helping us to send messages to one another. They had decided to form an organization to demand multi-party democracy in Zanzibar. It was an underground organization. It was not a legal one, but it had a lot of support. When I came out of jail, of course, I found Kamahoro was there, but one of the conditions which was given to me on my release was that I was not allowed to meet more than 2-3 persons at a time. I was not allowed to go outside Zanzibar town without the permission of the High Court of Zanzibar.
Lakini katika mwaka 77 wakati wa kuunganisha chama cha CCM na chama cha TANU na Shariff kutengeneza CCM, nilihisi matumaini, lakini kwa kiasi fulani baada ya muda mfupi mwaka 84 matumaini yangu ya kuwa hichi chama cha CCM kinaweza kutukomboa hayakuwepo katika kichwa changu, kitu ambacho kilinifanya wakati huo nakaribia umri wa miaka 18 na nikaamua kutokujiunga katika chama cha CCM. Lakini baadaye mwaka 91 kulikuja harakati za kuanzishwa vyama vingine vya kisiasa, na kwa sababu nilikuwa nafahamu uzuri maana ya uchumi, maana ya utawala na maana ya kuishi, niliamua kujiunga katika chama cha CUF.
Sisi Maalim Seif Sharif Hamad tunamwelewa zamani sana na tunazijua sera zake ni sera za uhakika. sio sera za udanganyifu. Na jingine ambalo tunalompendea Maalim, hatumpendei sura wala ndevu. Tunampenda vitendo vyake vya kazi, anatenda kazi ya uhakika.
The Kamahuru group had already decided that we form a party. And in fact wanted to call it ZUF, Zanzibar United Front. But because of this condition that the party should be national, in the sense that it should have followers in the mainland here, we decided to approach other groups in the mainland. After our discussions, Mapalala showed an interest to join hands with us so as to form one party. So we combined to have the Civic United Front, CUF. That is how it was formed.
Zanzibar's very first multi-party elections were held on the 25th of October 1995, after which the highly anticipated announcement of the presidential results was delayed for a whole 4 days. CUF claimed victory until the Zanzibar Electoral Commission, ZEC, announced that it was in fact the CCM candidate that had won the elections by as little as 0.4%. Observers, both local and international, felt that the elections had been neither free nor fair, and as a result, CUF refused to accept the outcome or recognize the president and the government, and serious political tension between the two parties began. 5 years later, in 2000, the polls were opened for presidential elections once again. They were chaotic and disorganized, as they would continue to be in 2005. Many polling stations opened as late as midday, owing to an absence of ballot papers. The counting caused huge controversy, as Zanzibar Electoral Commission instructed all polling stations to interrupt the process and nullified the results in 16 constituencies in the urban west region of Unguja. These constituencies comprise 42% of voters who were instructed to vote again a week later. Despite the election being riddled with claims of vote rigging, street protests, police violence, killings and arrests, Amani Abeid Karume of CCM, son of the first president of Zanzibar, won the presidency with 63% of the vote, compared to CUF candidate Seif Sharif Hamad's 37%. Many CUF supporters fled the country as refugees and sought safety abroad, not least in Mombasa. Another 5 years on, the 2005 multi-party elections were fraught with even more serious irregularities, from voter registration to vote collection. The results sent shockwaves through Zanzibar. The vote results came out completely different from the figures tallied by the opposition poll agents. Security forces engaged in a campaign of intimidation, subjecting CUF supporters to undue brutality. They used tear gas and water cannons to disperse unhappy CUF supporters and put them under siege around the confines of the CUF headquarters. The siege left the supporters, who are fasting the last days of the holy month of Ramadan, with little food and drink options to break their fast with. The siege was only ended after intervention by the United Nations. Results announced by the Zanzibar Electoral Commission, now widely believed to be partisan, confirmed that CCM candidate Amani Abeid Karume was re-elected with 53% of the votes. Opposition candidate Seif Sharif Hamad from CUF received 46%.